Welcome back to the Real South Africa. We have a great interview with a young lady. Check it out. Hello, what's going on? This is Mark Blanton from the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism. And I know you guys are probably like, wow, they're actually bringing us some new content. They want us to know what's going on with them. And then, of course, what's going on in the tourism space. And then, of course, a little bit later on, I have a special guest. So I would say go ahead and like and subscribe. And of course, leave comments. A lot of people read the comments. So I would definitely do that and whatnot. So for those of you guys who have never seen us before, hey, we are a travel and tourism company based here in Johannesburg, South Africa. Yes, my accent says that I am an American, and yes, I am an American. We just live here because it's nice here. Obviously, you guys have been hearing about South Africa a lot, if not through us, but through other people. And of course, Africa itself, people have been doing a lot of chatting and a lot of talking about what goes on here in South Africa. There's so many viewpoints, there's so many this, and there's so many that. And of course, they're all valid because that's their viewpoint, but that's who we are. And we're very proud to be able to bring those in the diaspora, primarily those over in the UK. We've had a lot of people from UK come. We have people from the Caribbean come. So we've had a few people come here. And then, of course, all you guys from America who have came, we brought you here as well. So there's a lot going on. And of course, we are very proud to be, in this tourism space. Now, keep in mind, here in South Africa, it is summertime. It's summer. And of course, over in North America, in the Northern Hemisphere, it's a little chilly right now. I know, have friends of mine who have showed me some videotape showing that how the ice is up to here and the snow is up to here. And then I showed them pictures of me in the pool because that's what's going on down here. So in South Africa. So again, this has been an amazing place. We've been, loving it for an extended period of time. But in the meanwhile, we get an opportunity to meet a lot of people. And we meet them and we have these conversations, a lot of conversations, but we kind of keep it to ourselves, about what we think. These are proper people who are doing well for themselves and so forth. And they see what we're doing. So we appreciate the fact that we get recognized. People are like, oh yeah, that's Real South Africa. We'd be out in the street. Oh, there go Mark, there go Tasha from the Real South Africa. And we really appreciate it because then people are like, oh, okay. We see you. And of course, that's a thing here in South Africa or in Africa in general. If you're doing something, people come and recognize you and so forth, which is good. In the meanwhile, we've brought many, 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 many people, especially in 2023, for their first experience here in South Africa. And I'm going to tell you right now, the majority of them, the vast majority of them, 99.3.4%, somewhere there and about, have just been absolutely bowled over about how we actually present South Africa. It's not like we've been here just for a little while and we're just talking about our initial reactions to certain things. Some of you guys understand that we've been in South Africa, full time for 6 years, but then there's a lot of you guys that know we go way back to 2010. So we've been watching this thing develop, get bigger, grow. And, I remember a time when we were looking at trying to move here or trying to, repatriate to Africa, or especially South Africa. There was no content. There was nobody to talk to. There was no video. And if it was, they were all on YouTube and they were very negative about, be concerned, be concerned, be concerned. And it kind of made me feel like they just wanted to keep us away. And the reason why I say that, because when I come here, I didn't see all those things that they were talking about. Not saying they didn't exist. I just did not see them. So it seemed like they just kind of wanted to keep us away. They wanted to play keep away with South Africa. They didn't want us to come down here and see what is going on. So what did we do? Of course, we started a tourism company right here in South Africa. Matter of fact, let me show this to you, and then I'll come right back to you, and then we're going to get to our guests. So make sure that you stay with us. Hey guys, I know you've been trying to get to South Africa, and we got the final solution for you. It's therealsouthafrica.com. As you see, we have packages that brings you to this wonderful country. So based off what you're looking for, based off your flavor, based off how long you want to be here, you get to choose the date that you come to South Africa, because when you go to our website, you book the date. You can say how many people are coming, it'll give you a price and all of that. But does this look amazing to you? Well, if it does, you need to think about coming to South Africa and have a really good experience, and to come with a company that's going to provide all the transportation, all the accommodations, 5-star, first class, all that. That's what it should be when you come to Africa. It shouldn't be a scenario where you're trying to figure it out, because we've figured it out for you. So welcome to the real South Africa. See you soon. So that's who we are. That's what we do. That's what people see. That's what people here in South Africa see. And then, of course, they're seeing all the people come in and seeing some of the people going. They don't see everybody, because some people are very private with their stuff. They don't want to come. They come to Africa. They don't want everybody knowing back in the United States. Don't know why, but they don't want anybody knowing. So they just come. They absolutely enjoy the 5-star across the board. And then they go back, and then they're like, oh my God, how do I get back? And so forth and so forth. So obviously you can go to our website. We can definitely assist you with that. And you could book everything that you need on our website, which is, very user friendly. Obviously, if you have any questions, you can always reach out to us. And then, of course, coming up this year, which was very popular for 2023 and definitely for 2022, we got our real estate tour. It is coming back. So I'm telling you right now, you probably need to, if you're interested in doing any type of real estate here in South Africa, if you've been following us the whole time, I put 2023, but it should be 2024. But yeah, everybody's going to be trying to get on this tour. I know last year filled up pretty quickly. The year prior to that filled up pretty fast as well. So we just announced it not so long ago, and we got several people that are already got their deposits in, and or they've already paid for their trip, because they're like, listen, I want something nice. I want to change the pace. I want to see something different. I'm tired of people on YouTube telling me, about this and telling me about that, but they're not actually providing solutions on how to actually get there, how to actually do it. So I'm gonna go with the people who have been there for an extended period of time, and they actually have a tour that if I go on, then my eyes would be open just like all the other people, and then I can make a decision. You can make a decision on what you want to do with yourself. So without further ado, I'm gonna leave it there, because like I said, we have a very special guest coming up. So I absolutely hope that you guys enjoy the conversation that we had. And then of course, after that, we will see you here in sunny South Africa. All right, everybody, I have somebody here that I want you guys to meet. She's a special person here in South Africa. We do have conversations a lot about, relationships between, Americans, African Americans, in South Africa. And so without further ado, I'm going to bring her on. So, all right, guys, there she is.
You will play on my name.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
So tell them who you are. Tell them what you do. Tell them why you're so special.
Well, just to start, Dudu, and not that sound that some people usually make around that name. Dudu is a Zulu name. It means comforter. So my name is Dudu Msomi, and I am from South Africa. I live between Durban and Johannesburg, but hey, the whole of South Africa is my home. Yeah. What makes me special is that I love being African. I love people of African descent from anywhere in the world. I literally, my heart just soars, which is exactly why whenever I meet people of African descent from anywhere, my heart just which is why we connected, because when I discovered the real South African. I found out it's African Americans. I was like so excited. So, but in my day-to-day life, I'm a CEO of Busara Leadership Partners, which is a strategic advisory firm. And we facilitate the development and effectiveness of leaders. So we work with boards, we work with management, we also work with entrepreneurs. And we've been going since 2009.
Okay. So you're one of those smart leaders on this side that is kind of forging a way, for the future here in South Africa, or at least that's the way that I see
it. Yeah. And I mean, I must say my relationship with America, obviously it starts when we're very young because of the pervasiveness of the media in terms of the US. And so you grew up, hearing about Oprah, Michael Jordan, those prominent. And then you grow up and then you start traveling, you go to the US and you experience it your own way. But as an African who's really passionate about Africa, I really take a lot of joy associating and meeting people of African descent anywhere in the world. So I remember when I was quite young, I was traveling around Europe, and in Austria, in Vienna at that time, it was like late 90s, not too many Africans around. And I'm sure the entire trip, I possibly met 2 or 3, and they'll be across the road, and we're like, and people will say, "Do you know them?" Like, no, they're African. That's all that matters.
Just like me.
That's all you need. It's like they look like me. I'm very excited to see them.
Well, I can say I was happy that you reached out to us some time ago, because in full disclosure, I think it's been some time. And so in the meanwhile, we've been kind of chatting back and forth. You would see certain content, you would send it to me. You would ask me, what do I think, and so forth. And I have such an American answer to these things that you're seeing, and so forth. But like I said, I'm glad that you reached out and you liked what we were doing here at the Real South Africa. And of course, we just happen to be Africans as well. And of course, we've been living here for roughly 6 years now. So I'm identifying more like yourself than maybe my previous life, because I'm around people such as yourself all the time.
And you came as my guest on the Wisdom Personified Conversations with Dudu Msomi, which was an amazing conversation. I was really proud of that, because I was also very interested in showcasing that we have, family all over the world, and there are people who are finding South Africa as a potential home, and some people have literally made it their home. And to say we should build more bridges, more ties. South Africa has always promoted tourism as one of the major sectors. And in the past, we've really focused on Europe. And even if we focus on the Americas, you usually focus on people from European descent. And I'm very excited about the idea of Africans traveling and creating partnerships and relationships, because I feel if any other African is doing well, it makes my shoulders kind of like I walk taller. I feel like I'm, even if it's not me, I identify their progress as my progress. And it also helps all of us as a race to be able to take our place in the world. So if we all progressing, we become the standard. And so it's not as simple as just tourism and touring and enjoying. It elevates people of African descent in the minds of others who have thought that we not worthy and we cannot do amazing things in the world. So this is how I look at it.
Yeah, I think sometimes they think that we really can't organize. And obviously I look at my demographics as far as, because I do a lot of YouTube stuff, a lot of Facebook stuff, and I see who's watching. And it's not just people that are in Africa. It's not just people from America. There are people from around the world looking at our content. And a lot of times people reach out to us from Italy, from Portugal, from all these different places saying, how could we be a part of what you guys are doing as far as being able to be tourists in this country? And of course,
Yeah.
we reach back out and we let them know. But it's pretty clear the way we do our content that we want people that are not being reached, which is, I know because I am an American. I lived in America. I didn't really hear much about South Africa until I started coming here. Obviously, World Cup was a catalyst for all of this, which was a good time, and I think South Africa does a good job, in promoting that event. And I happen to be here, but again, after that, there's no outreach, there's no this, there's no that, and I found that when I got here, there were a lot of South Africans, especially Black South Africans, asking me, why aren't they coming? Where are they? And then I've also found out that they're like, how can I help? What can I do? As a private individual, what can I do to facilitate that?
Yeah.
So how do you
outside
feel?
of just being outside of being good citizens and being friendly and accepting. And
Yeah.
I mean, the one thing that I've always enjoyed about South Africans is, in our essence, we're really good hosts. We
Hmm.
do love people when they come to our country. We may have been going through a rough patch in the last few years in terms of our own economic situation, which may, rub us the wrong way sometimes. But in our essence, we love it. We will give you the last little piece on our plate so that you can have a good experience. And we're very friendly. I mean, even amongst us as South Africans, the one thing when we leave this country and we go on holiday, we come back, we love the idea that, gosh, there's this banter that we have with anybody. You may just have met somebody now, and it can be in the city of Johannesburg, and you will just start being friendly, smiling, being joyous, which in New York, you don't do that. When
No,
I'm
not
in
a little bit. Don't talk to me in New York.
Yeah, when I'm in New York, I mean, I remember my last trip there, which is a bit some time back. I was going with somebody who was an MD of a financial services firm, which I will not name. And she kept on saying, why are these people greeting you? Why are they greeting you? So I said, I don't know them. She says, I think it's because your face is opened. There is something about your face that is not closed off, and people feel like they know you. And that's the thing about South Africa. It's just that within a few seconds of meeting someone, they can feel like they're a friend that you've had forever. And we do look after each other. I know
Yeah.
that people focus on the negative in terms of crime. We will not run away from that. It does happen. But
Yeah.
like any person in any part of the world, any city that you go to, you need to be awake and try and be safe as much as possible. But in the main, every person that you meet is most likely to look after you than to attack you.
Exactly. And those are the experiences that I have had. And I know there are people are like, well, won't you just tell the bad? And unfortunately, I've never been robbed in Washington D.C. I never have, so I can't talk about it. I don't know. I
Yeah.
hear about it. I watch the news, and things happen here as well. But I can't talk about it. I can't speak on it. I've been here 6 years. I haven't had an issue, at all. Everything that you just spoke on, I've experienced it. The welcomeness, the openness. Even though, like I said, I met you. You were very open. You're very transparent. When I'm in KZN or I'm in Durban, interchangeable. You show up and you say, "Hey, I'm here. Let's have a conversation," and so forth. But one of the conversations that we did have, I think it's centered around, why aren't African Americans coming here, or they should be coming.
They should be coming. I'm surprised. As part of my joy at seeing your company and meeting you is, I need more African Americans. I understand. I know we've mentioned Harry Lewis Gates Jr.,
Yeah,
who does the DNA tests, and a lot of connections have been made with West Africa. So a lot of African Americans are making the journey home
Mhm.
in terms of West Africa. So even if we may not share the roots in terms of South Africa and the slave trade,
Mhm.
but this is still your home. The whole of the continent is still your home. And we may not always embrace you the way you want to be embraced in terms of,
Mhm.
because, we've been modernized as well. But the one thing you will always feel is you will feel more at home here than anywhere else. This is a place that we look like you. Our
Yeah.
lifestyle, unfortunately, it's not something that's featured much on American television. Even some of the comedians will act as though, Africa is in a particular way. We're
Yeah.
quite advanced. Even if our population in South Africa over the last difficult years, especially post-COVID, even before,
Mhm.
employment has been high, a lot of those people are still educated and employed.
Very.
So
Yeah.
um, so we an advanced society. Our financial services sector is one of the top three. In fact, in terms of regulation, I think we the top one or two in the world. Um, my friends, I mean, from all my life, I've been doing online banking. There's just so many in terms of our financial services that when you go to other countries, they can't believe how advanced we are.
Yeah.
And when you are middle class in South Africa, you have a damn good life,
Yeah. And
when you're class. And even when you are not, you can still see that I have the ability to get there.
yeah.
Um, so there are just so many positive. I remember when I started my career, I started my career in advertising. So in Such and Such Advertising, which is a global network, I actually
Mhm.
went to Such and Such in New York as well. But my training was also in Such and Such in London, and I had to be there for like 2 months,
Mhm.
and I had to stay in a room of an apartment, which the room was equivalent of my furnished cottage pool in South Africa,
Yeah.
just in terms of rental and the quality of life. So, in terms of the quality of life, South Africa, hands down, even if some stuff have taken a knock in the last few years, and we're
Yeah.
hoping we'll get back on track in terms of our infrastructure. But in terms of just the quality of life, if you're middle class, is really good. So if you're an African American who has the advantage of an exchange rate, that
Yeah.
is,
Yeah. And see,
it's
and the word exchange rate doesn't translate to us in the US because we never have to exchange anything. It's always whatever the dollar is whatever the dollar is, which we
yeah,
know that it changes every day. And currently is very favorable to the American dollar, not to you at the
yeah,
person in particular, but whoever holds that American dollar can do very well down here in the Republic of South
yeah.
Africa.
It's amazing. I mean, I was looking at is it one of your tours? Six
Yeah.
day, six
Yeah.
day tours. I mean, that is just the quality. 5-star hotels,
Yeah.
food. Many of us, I think, our last war petite. The food, the restaurants here
Yeah.
make it very difficult to keep to your weight, because just really good quality food. And obviously, we are known for our wines.
hmm
So good wines, but everything. We also have artisanal gin industry that is booming. So we have everything. We have the mountains, we have the ocean, we
Yeah.
have the city, we have the small. I love traveling this country. The one thing I do enjoy is also when my friends want to come, I block off 2 weeks and I do the traveling with them, because when somebody who hasn't been born in this country travels your country and makes commentary, you start appreciating things that you take for granted.
Correct. It's funny you say as far as like liking to travel. When we have people come in the country all the time, we let them pick their travel dates. They come in, which is great. But people are probably thinking, well, how do you know about these places? Because I actually go, and I have time, and I love to travel this country. It's easy to do between with the highway system, with the several airlines that we have just for this one country, and what else? The trains and all the good stuff, even the Hall train. there's so many ways to to get around here, which again, I love to travel in this country, so I want people on our side, which is the U.S., to actually experience what South Africans and experience as well. So the way I see it, I'm a private citizen, I feel that we need to expose this to our own people, and I call it a grassroots movement. But I've found that South Africans are just as enthused about spreading the word as I am. Not particularly, let's try to blame it on the tourism bureaus. They're busy doing their job, bringing in the tourists so so people can actually have jobs. They're very busy, and I get it. So I can't tell them to stop doing that to go worry about this. I'm going to worry about it myself and let them do what they need to do. And then people such as you that are spreading the word and being good stewards of South Africa.
Yeah, we all can play our part. I mean, South African tourism has a huge role to play and targets that they have to meet. And there are traditional markets that they've looked after. And it's us as citizens who can also bring new markets that may not be top of mind. And for me, African American market is one that all of us, because ultimately the experience that each tourist gets is from how we treat them. So if we are doing a good job, it encourages more. And it's not just, I mean, we've spoken about that, and I'm hoping in the future we'll do, when we also bring learning opportunities. It's learning, because tourism and learning all in one. I mean, South Africa, we're very good. I do leadership development programs, design those, and they integrated with tourism, but also the learnings. So it's not just people who just want to come on holiday, but there are opportunities for students, for communities to do exchange, to come to South Africa, and in the future, South Africans. So from different communities. So that interaction is also educational, and programs can be designed to cater for the academic world and those that just want to come for leisure, or those you do a lot in the real estate industry to encourage people who also want to come and buy property here. And now with the remote working world, people can come and buy property here, be living in the beautiful estates that we have in this country, where we have you off the grid, so even our power situation doesn't impact you, and nobody even knows. And if you have to go into the office every 3 months, you fly back to the US and you come back. Nobody even knows that you're not even working in the US. I must say, the little joke I had when I was young, I either thought I will marry a Puerto Rican or an African American, and it has not happened yet.
Because they won't come here. They will not. But
I'm not going to fetch them. So do come. The good African men. But I mean, every African is good in my books. Society sometimes can do things that showcase the negative parts of our personalities and our character, but the essence of African, I always have much faith. So it will be great if we have more African Americans coming, please. And it's so affordable. The exchange rate, look at the rand dollar rate, and you'll find that it is so easy. And then you just send communication to the Real South Africa Travel and Tourism Company, and they get you here. And then hopefully, one day I'll meet you as well, if I'm able to as well. Yeah.
But it's funny because I learned a lot from South Africans. I'm a very smart guy in the U.S. I can navigate all this stuff, but this whole tourism space was a conversation with people in tourism, such as yourself, who are very educated in your areas, and they hit me to the game. They was like, hey, if we could do these things, but obviously we work for this agency and that agency, so our focus is here. And so I told them, I said, don't concern yourself. I will do my part. So they're always lurking behind me somewhere back there saying, okay, that's great. Now let's see if we could do this. Let's see if we could do that. While they're worried about their sand parks mission, or South African National Parks,
Yeah.
we do have these conversations, and they're happy with what they're seeing, and so I do get that level of support, and even this conversation is definitely a level of support. But one of the things that we talked about as well was people in the U.S. and all that skilled talent that we have in the U.S. I think through tourism, if they came on a visit or two, they came on a level to where they can see themselves, to where they're, spending time in some of these estates that we talked about, some of these beautiful restaurants and, shopping centers that we have here in South Africa. They would probably want to come and bring their skill sets to South Africa because it's needed, would you say?
Yeah, definitely. The one thing, as you know, I'm always honest. I don't
Mhm.
sugarcoat things. Uh, the I remember post democracy, there were a whole lot of young professionals that came, especially with the big consulting firms. Um, and some were African American, and they came with an attitude of kind of like, we're coming to save you,
Mhm.
kind of thing, which rubbed people the wrong way because
Yeah.
uh, a lot of us are educated, especially in those spaces. We are
Mhm.
educated. We don't need saving. However, we need partnerships and we need people who are committed to our country. And if they do want to develop enterprises, they're able to. But it is the right attitude that you come with. It's sometimes language barrier, accent barrier doesn't mean that somebody is less intelligent. So I
Mhm.
think it's all the stereotypes of seeing Africa as as a country instead of a continent, and
Mhm.
people not understanding that Africa has different countries and South
Yeah.
Africa is different. I find that also when I'm interfacing in the US and with some of the professionals. I mean, I was fortunate enough to be a mentee on a program with Fortune 500 CEOs and executives. And some of them just didn't know how to handle the South Africans, particularly because we were quite advanced. So
Mhm.
I would love for more African Americans to come and set up businesses, especially things in trade.
Mhm.
Look at opportunities and look at the skills. We need engineers, we need artisans. Those are kind of skills that we're very short of. So when
Mhm.
you do come and we it's always our government is always looking to simplify processes of starting businesses, registering businesses, setting up. So that's done because I have friends who have done that, who have
Yeah.
come from other countries and set up businesses. So that can be done. So look at those opportunities, and as long as and it's, as I say, it's not always going to be like you feel like everybody's hugging you, like, but and that's the same anywhere in the world. Anywhere you go in the world, you will have people that are supportive of you. You'll have difficulties. So don't come with the mindset of things are just going to happen for me because I'm coming to save you. But I would really love it if more African Americans could come set up businesses, create employment. We have high unemployment. We have
Yes.
highly skilled people who can't find jobs, but are also not entrepreneurial. So they're not able to create. And even if they have ideas, they don't have access to markets.
Yeah.
So all that kind of interaction is going to be useful for all of us because ultimately we will all progress as a race together.
And see, that's so simple. It's so easy. And we all can participate, and the way it was explained to me, and I really appreciate how you explained it, because your words are much better than mine. All I can say is that when I say come as a tourist, if I would just stand on a platform and say, come here because of this, and this, and this, it won't go far. But what I've learned from the people in the tourism industry here, through tourism, if you just came on a visit to just, do one of our 5-star events, I promise you, you're going to leave and be thinking, I wonder if they need an engineer. I wonder if they need somebody who's in the medical field. I wonder if I could come that way. And fortunately, we've had a lot of people come and move to South Africa and are participating and or adding value to South Africa. So I suggest that most of us, that when we do come, that we provide, some levels of value to South Africa when we're coming. So
Yeah, especially knowledge industries. There will be some that may not necessarily employ people who are not who are not unskilled. So it's knowledge services, and a lot of their products, whether it's software, whatever, could be exported. We will still gain from that, so look at the opportunities in a broad sense. There are things that in America, the service industry is very advanced. I mean, you even have dog walkers. I mean, there are things that you have that really, because your market is huge. I mean, South Africa doesn't have such a huge market. So that kind of creativity, you will find that we will end up having industries that we didn't think about. In the chemical industry, machinery that we could be producing that we didn't even think we could produce, and suddenly we have skills that are able to help in the medical sector. So as broad as possible in the educational sector. But you have to come here first and then be able to kind of see the opportunities. And when we are available, Mark will get in touch with us, have round tables, and talk to people. We tend to be quite honest. So it all depends on the people you meet. There are people who will sugarcoat, and there are people who will tell you only the negative, and there are people that may only tell you the positive. And hopefully there are enough of us who will try and give you a good mix of what you can expect.
Exactly. And like you said, we brought some terrific people to this country. Some high value people, some middle value people, everybody. We brought everybody here, and it seems like everybody wants to contribute. And that's why I think we're starting to see an influx from the United States of people from the Caribbean market. And then we have a lot of people coming from the UK here to South Africa. But again, that's something that we're doing grassroots. We should continue. We're going to continue to have these conversations. Obviously, guys, you can reach out to Dudu on her YouTube channel, which I have everything at the bottom. Now, on her YouTube channel, she brings some highly intelligent people on her channel. That's why I was on it.
We are curating African wisdom from people of African descent and people who are from Africa. And in terms of Africa, as you know, we have many races as well. So, but I would love to bring on more African American people onto the program. We need to learn from each other. And the more African ideas or people who look like us, their ideas are pervasive on the internet, the more we're going to be respected as well.
Exactly. And I am finding, and I will report that that most of the South Africans and Africans that I run into are more than willing to share whatever they have. If it's information or if it's just, hey, all I have is a half a sandwich here, you can have that. I've seen that personally, and they have helped me out a lot, and that's why I have a lot of success. I come here and I embrace my American side, but I also embrace my African side, and I seem to get a lot of returns from this side over here versus that side over there. And so that's why I reside here in Johannesburg, South Africa, and I always look forward to more interactions with Dudu and others. But if I would say, guys, go to her YouTube channel and check out all her content there. I promise you will fall in love with it. And but I do appreciate you, Dudu, for spending some time with us. Is there anything else you want to add to the fire?
Well, what's important really is for Africans to start really taking back their power. For me, that's important. And the real South Africa, for me, was one way of appreciating that you will not appreciate what's going to happen 20, 30 years from now from this linkage that you have developed. But I know it's going to have huge impact. When you start helping all of us walk taller and feel connected, we are changing our destiny as a race. And that's what's most important. For us as South Africans who host you and meet you, to show the best part of ourselves, because in you, we see ourselves. And hopefully when you come here, you see yourself and you're proud. And that for me drives me. So let us look at supporting each other's businesses and making ourselves stronger. Let our dollars circulate amongst ourselves first before we go to other races, because ultimately we make them stronger. And I'm not a racist. We make races stronger, and yet they are becoming wealthier because of us. Let us make ourselves wealthy as well, and wealthy not just in monetary terms, but in soul terms, in terms of our characters, in terms of our values, in terms of the things that we build that really help the next generation in the educational sector, in the medical sector, in the manufacturing, in all sectors that exist. And how it's going to start at this point in time is tourism. You coming to South Africa, and then many opportunities will arise from that.
Absolutely. And I really appreciate the kind words for the Real South Africa. We do the best that we can with what we have to do with. And hopefully I will see you soon here, somewhere running around this great country. So
it's my birthday soon. So, I'm starting my trips around.
Okay. I'm sure we might end up connecting on one of those. So cool. Well, thank you, dear. And we truly appreciate it. And we will see you, as we say, on the flip side.
See you soon. Bye.
All right. Bye-bye. All right, guys. As you see, we had a great conversation. These conversations are happening all the time. So the best thing that we can do is just literally just come to South Africa, experience the people. Most of the people that are here are absolutely amazing. Every time I do a video that you guys see, I always just say, what the South Africans are the ones that are making it happen. And as she said, you're gonna see yourself in them. Not just simply because they look like you, it's simply because you're going to see yourself in them. And then you're going to want to say, well, how can I help myself? By helping them. And so us coming here, us being here, using a tourism, an established tourism portal to get here will make a massive difference. So again, I would love to see you guys here. It's not just, a lot of people think it's just me and Latasha, but there's a whole bunch of other people behind us making it happen. We just happen to own the company. And we know that, Americans are looking for something else. I know me and Dudu talk about, she sent me a video recently about, people that are in the Americas that are like frustrated and fed up about being, in America. And it seems like that they don't have anywhere to go. They don't know which way to go. Well, that may be true, but at the end of the day, it's really incumbent on you to look at Africa as an option. She's pro-Africa. I'm definitely pro-Africa. So if it's not South Africa, that's fine. Go somewhere in Africa. If it's your, what do you call it? Your DNA that says go there, and I guarantee you'll leave. So at the end of this, we will see you in sunny South Africa.
South Africa has partnered with a firm to give you more options for payment. Please visit our website to find out more.
thank you so much for spending time with us today. If you like what you saw, please subscribe and don't forget to hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on all things The Real South Africa. Thanks again.